Let's talk about the new $1,000 stimulus check proposal and why some may actually like this more than other proposals and some might not like it as much. And what is the likelihood of something like this even passing? So the stimulus packages and the politics of it all have given us a world of uncertainty for the last few weeks. We don't know what is and isn't going to be included, and the two parties seem to be about as divided as ever. However, among the back and forth, the bickering, we have heard very little against the second stimulus check, which is wonderful for most of us. This seems to be one of the only things that has been more in agreement than not, and that has been a nice solid foundation for just about everyone, where it felt like no matter what comes out of a package, okay, that didn't come out right. That one was actually an accident. So it seemed like no matter what we'll see in a stimulus package, a $1,200 check will be part of that package. But will it? We have a new proposal on the table for a $1,000 stimulus check, and seeing this proposal, it's kind of brought me back to reality a little bit. I realized, oh yeah, the $1,200 check hasn't been voted in yet, and nothing is an absolute sure deal yet, and it's important to remember that. So let's look at the details of this check. The proposal is called the Coronavirus Assistance for American Families Act and is sponsored by Senators Cassidy, Daines, Romney, and Rubio. This proposal would give a $1,000 stimulus check to all U.S. citizens with Social Security numbers regardless of age. And this is really important. So let's go through some of the examples really quick. If you're a single filer, you'd get $1,000. Joint filers would get $2,000 total. A single filer with one dependent gets $2,000. Joint filers with two dependents get $4,000. Compare this with the CARES Act, or the HEROES Act, or the HEALS Act. Every single one of those proposals give a $1,200 payment to all adults who qualify with a separate dependent payment. The HEROES Act offered $1,200 per dependent, while the CARES Act and the HEALS Act offered $500 per dependent. This new proposal includes eligibility for adult dependents, including the disabled and including college students. So this is one of the areas where for certain families or for certain people, you may prefer this proposal over everything else currently because you could potentially receive a larger payment depending on how many dependents you have, whether they are adult dependents or children under the age of 17. It doesn't really matter under this proposal. It works out that under this proposal, if you're a single filer, you'll get $200 less under this deal compared to every other deal. If you're a single filer with two children though, you'll actually get $800 more than you did with the CARES Act. And if you're a joint filer with two children, you will get $600 more under this proposal versus the CARES Act. Finally, another key difference within this proposal is it would include eligibility for U.S. citizens married to foreign nationals. This was a big issue for millions of legal American citizens under the CARES Act. With the CARES Act, if you were a citizen with a Social Security number, but you married a non-citizen, you, the citizen, would not receive a stimulus check. This act would address that issue. However, this act doesn't go quite as far as the HEROES Act. The HEROES Act gave a $1,200 payment to those with ITIN numbers in addition to those with Social Security numbers. There are a few other questions and small differences I noticed with the $1,000 stimulus check that I feel we should cover as well before I end this video. First, I noticed that there was no stipulation on how many dependents you can receive the $1,000 payment for. Just for reference, the HEROES Act allowed for 3 dependents with a total of $3,600 in payments. This is just one of the many eligibility details that we would have to wait for more legal text to get answers to, but there would be the potential if someone has a lot of children or dependents, they could receive a huge stimulus payment if there is no limit on number of dependents here. The other questions we have that we don't have answers to are the more nuanced, like if the payment could be garnished for child support, and we just really don't know the answer to most of those kind of nuanced questions. Another small difference with this $1,000 proposal is income eligibility. Under just about every other proposal, the income eligibility is the same. $75,000 for single filers, and $150,000 for joint filers, scaling down to $100,000 and $200,000 respectively. Because this check is slightly smaller, the peak income limits lower a little bit as well. The payment would be completely phased out for the $1,000 check at $95,000 AGI for single filers and $190,000 AGI for joint filers. So in summary, this stimulus proposal is very family focused, it seems. Those with families will likely prefer this proposal over pretty much everything else on the table. And those without children may be a little bit frustrated that they could potentially receive less under this proposal if it happened to go through. Now the question is, will this ever even get passed? My personal opinion is no. The $1,200 payment size of the first check seems to have a lot of support from both sides. After all, it was written into both House and Senate bills. I believe that this is just another one of those proposals that will slowly die out, just like the $2,000 a month proposal or the flat $2,000 one-time check. So that's all I have for today. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and have a profitable day.